Hello. I have our read for the day. Just a little bit more even for you. All right. So, somebody has been working on their independence, and that has made somebody else very frustrated because you've created boundaries. You are working to, you're kind of started coming up with a plan that's going to help rebuild financial security because you've been on the struggle bus for a little bit. And because of that, you are actually going to create that financial security. You have been working on reclaiming your personal power. You're not going to allow people to tell you what it is that you need to do. You are going to make your own plan, and you're going to walk your own path, and you're going to stick to it. The problem is that this person that you're dealing with is really possessive, and you just want peace, and you are not. You're refusing to compromise. You are not going to give up what you have worked so hard on, what you stand for, just because they want it. Because honestly, from the way the cards look, you're not getting anything positive out of that relationship anyway. So they can keep their possessiveness and their frustration at having boundaries to themselves. They don't want you to be financially stable. Who looks at somebody and is like, I hope they're not financially stable. I hope they can't pay their bills. That's weird. They can keep that to themselves, right? All right. Let's do 3 bicycle deck cards. If we need more, of course, we'll go ahead and get more. Endurance. This was I'm not saying it was a test, but maybe it felt like one at times, like a test of endurance. You had to really go through the ringer to be able to pull yourself away from this energy. Wands is movement, so you've done it. This is something that you're doing, and anytime they try and like sneak back around and see if they can suck you in a little bit, you prove that that is not going to be a thing that's going to work out in their favor. Emotions. They try to manipulate you through your emotions. They tried to get you to a point where mentally you felt like you had to lean on somebody else in order to function. But you found your power. You don't need your emotions. They found out relatively quickly once you cottoned on to what they were doing. They found out very quickly that you had the power to just be done. I'm not going to deal with these shenanigans. You had the power to move away and to alchemize any sort of pain that they cause into power. You are an alchemist. That's what that is. That's not right. Karmic balance. Yep, that's what I thought. They were a karmic lesson. They didn't... Yes. They were a karmic lesson. They are... You had to... There are different energies that we run across. Boy, my mouth is not working right. There are different energies that we run across throughout our life, and a lot of them are karmic lessons. Some of them... Now, if you talk to the deities, they're going to tell you all karmic lessons are good karmic lessons because they're all lessons that you need to learn, right? But being here in the 3D, There are good karmic lessons and there are bad karmic lessons. There are the ones that bring us happiness and joy, and there are the ones that bring us sadness and pain where we need to transmute that energy into the power. And although you were able to do that, that doesn't mean that this was necessarily an easy karmic lesson for you to learn, because you did have to do a whole lot of transmuting. Taurus, do we have any more that we want to say? Do you want to pull maybe one more card? Yep. Drive. You used drive. You took action. Chariot. Chariot is movement. You are moving away from this energy. Even if they do try to wiggle their fingers on in to your pie and to see if they can snatch any of your power away, you're going to stand firm. You're going to hold your boundaries. If you are spiritual, I highly, highly suggest iron. Iron above your doorway, like horseshoes above your doorway. Railroad stakes at the four corners of your property. You can do nails. You can like nail. Well, how would you use that in just regular everyday life? You can use nails. Anything made out of iron, it kind of helps repel negative energies. So that might be something that you're interested in doing if you are spiritual or you practice spirituality. And please pay attention when I say spirituality, not witchcraft. I support witchcraft. I do walk the witchy way. I'm a shamanic healer. But I do think there are certain things that you can do to protect yourself energetically and not actually delve into the realm of witchcraft if that's not something you're familiar with or something you don't want to do. These are things, gosh, I grew up in the 90s, and I think almost everybody I knew had a freaking horseshoe hanging up over their door, or they had bells hanging from some sort of decorative thing on their doorknobs. Or like the cinnamon brooms hanging up somewhere in their house. And all of those are actually tools that can be used to help keep us protected energetically, that just became part of the normal decor for people who don't practice and aren't, maybe they're not spiritual in any way. Maybe they practice like a totally mundane religion. Like, is it weird to call Christianity mundane? I mean, it's definitely not boring, but it is more typically run-of-the-mill, right? But my family was Catholic growing up, and they had all of those things, but they did it just because it was part of the 80s and 90s chic. You had the glass geese everywhere with the little hats and the aprons, and then you also had bells on your door, and you had the horseshoes over your door, and you had the cinnamon brooms hanging up. So you could do simple things like that, especially if you don't want people walking in your house and them like worried that they're going to judge you. Those are things that you can do. It's just considered typical decor. They would just think that you have this thing hanging up, but what you're actually doing is you're help protecting yourself from the negative energies that sometimes try and latch on to us and siphon our energy like energy vampires, right? If you guys have any questions, you can actually reach out to me through, I don't know, can you message people privately through YouTube? I don't remember. I think you can. It's been a long time, but since I tried to, but if you have any questions, you can put it in the comments, or you can message me, and I can absolutely answer any questions that anybody might have when it comes to protection or spirituality. I also have other pages, and I don't think I actually mention them very often on this site, but I actually have a TikTok page, I have an Instagram page, I have a Snapchat, and I have a Facebook page. Everything can be found under Farming Witch, for the exception of Instagram, which is farming_witch. So if you like the stories that you see on here, you can absolutely follow me on those different platforms, and you can get the different energies that watch the videos lead to different stories. So I post on all of them almost every single day. If I don't get to all of them, I always get to Instagram and TikTok. But if you like what you see and if you want to watch more stories or little snippets of people's lives, feel free to join me on those other platforms. Thank you so much for your time. You have an amazing rest of your day.